Good morning, Raleigh. I'm Kayla G, and this is Rise and Unwind. Yes, we know it's a little early, but think of it as the calm before your day really gets going. We've got what's happening around town, what people are talking about, and a few things to help you wake up without needing that third cup of coffee. Yet. So stick with us. We'll ease you into the day the right way. This week, we've got this.
So for 150 years, Lilly has been focused on helping people live healthier lives, and access to nutritious food is one of the most important drivers of health.
And so because the building blocks of the skin are not put together in a normal way, it leads to increased weakness and fragility in the skin.
Avocados is one of those natural foods that actually contains both that heart-healthy fat and the fiber.
All that and more right here on Rise and Unwind Raleigh.
A lot of action franchises try to go bigger every time, but Jack Ryan Ghost War is also digging into trust, loyalty, and what service really costs. The new film continues the world's fans already know while standing on its own for people jumping in fresh. And joining us today is the legendary Wendell Pierce, who returns as James Greer. Wendell, it's great to have you on the show, my friend. How are you?
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, James Greer has always been one of the most grounded characters in this world. What do you enjoy most about stepping back into him for Ghost War?
The character of James Greer really reflects some of the people that I met doing the research of this character. You know, real CIA officers, retired, who have kind of given me their true north to form a more perfect union, and some of the debate that they have within the agency, and but understanding that the shared idealism of working on the mission, which is to form a more perfect union and protect that. You know, those are shared values, and so stepping back into the role, that's the thing that I'd love to portray. You know, as an actor, you're a student of human behavior. And what you want to do is create the world so strong that it induces that behavior. And that's the great thing about reliving a role like James Greer.
One thing John Krasinski mentioned is that the story works for both longtime fans and for people who've never watched the series. Was that something you felt like while you were making it too?
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to be familiar with the series at all. You can come to this fresh. You will see the history that we have as characters. You will see our relationship. You see our expertise, and then also you have this story of what's happening now, this casual act that I ask a favor of Jack Ryan to do for me that actually ignites a global espionage chase. And so it is one of those things that people who have seen the series can come to and appreciate the next level of where we take the characters, and people who come to this fresh and new. But what we do over the course of a series, put into a 2-hour movie, is just heightened and it makes it a lot more intense.
And you said it's been heightened, it's more cinematic, a little bigger, but it also keeps the political and moral tensions that Tom Clancy's stories are known for. What kind of balance does this film strike between action and some of the character?
Well, you know, I think it's very important. I'm very proud of the fact that we keep the debate happening about the clarity of mission and clarity of what values are, and the political debate that happens around that, because that is happening within the world, what happens within the agency, and it makes you, as the viewer, look at it and decide what your values are. You know, I mean, that's the forum of what filmmaking should be about, the place where we collectively come together, reflect on who we are, decide where we want to go, decide what our values are, maybe bring that into our lives. And so I love that we have that debate, and at the same time have some of the best cinematic thrill sequences of action comparable to the French Connection and Marathon Man and all of that, you know. So I'm very proud of the cinematic and the debate that happens within the film.
And fans, they know you from so many incredible roles from over the years, but there's something about Greer that people really connect with. What do you think keeps audiences invested in this character and this franchise?
I try to make James Greer a everyman. You know, that people look at it and go, there but by the grace of God go I. You know, that they can see themselves in James Greer. He's a man of pragmatism. He's a family man. He's flawed as he tries and did not succeed in keeping his family together. But with all of that, he is principled. And he attempts to hang on to his principles and values. And people will see themselves in that, you know. Not someone who's perfect, but someone who's pragmatic and at least tries to live by some sort of moral code. And that's who we all are, and that's who we are when we dream of who we can become. So that's the thing that makes him prescient, you know, and personal. And that's what I pride myself on when I try to portray him.
Yeah, thanks for being here today. Jack Ryan, Ghost War premieres May 20th on Prime Video. Wendell Pierce, I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So what would you do if someone from your past came back to turn your life upside down? That's the chilling idea behind Cape Fear, the new psychological thriller that's been keeping viewers on edge. Joining us today are Collias Malia Pyles, who play Natalie Bowden and Nevaeh Valentine in the series. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Hey, we're
Good. How are
Happy
you?
to be here.
Very happy to be here.
Cape Fear is packed with suspense, but it's also very character-driven. What drew each of you to your characters?
I think the fluidity of her arc, for me personally, I think Natalie is the kind of girl who didn't ever have to second guess things in her life. And it was so interesting to play someone that, like, I don't think it's calculated whatsoever, because you know, the circumstances are so specific that playing with what she's feeling even on that day or like that night, like, because she's just finding out new things every single day. It was just such a blessing.
Yeah. I love Natalie so much.
She loves Nevaeh.
I know, and we love each other.
What can we say?
I mean, with Nevaeh, it was similar where it's like, it was pretty obvious right off the bat that she's like a deeply complex character. And I so value Nick, our showrunners and our creators writing. I mean, just based off her name too, Nevaeh is literally heaven backwards. I was like, there's an immediacy to, I'm like, there's an attention to detail and a style to this show that's like really intriguing to me. And, you know, I never had the opportunity to play a character that's so villainous at times. And, you know, I think that was such a cool person to be in step with for so many months.
Without giving anything away, your characters develop an interesting friendship. What was it like building that relationship together on set?
I mean, it's so easy because Malia as a person is someone that I connect with. I'm so grateful to call her like one of my best friends now. We really like had each other's backs, and you know, we go through some intimate things together as characters, and the fact that we would be able to go home together and discuss and kind of just like throw ideas to a wall together was just like such a blessing, because at the end of the day, all we want to do is play. So it was just so fun to have that relationship with you.
Yeah, there was like an immediacy there. I mean, we met in the car and we were just both like completely vibrating with energy, and it was really easy to get to fall in love with these characters and then fall in love with her in a lot of ways. I mean, like she said, we'd go home from work after these crazy long days and like watch movies together and then bring parts of those movies into work the next day and be like, hey, can we bring this to our characters? And so, I mean, it was in a lot of ways just like a great lesson in trust and building something that feels at times like greater than just like the work you're putting out.
The series has such an incredible cast, including Javier Bardem, Amy Adams, Patrick Wilson. What did you learn from working alongside actors like that?
So much every single day. I think at the core of it is to put things that are genuinely important in your life first, and your artistry comes alongside with your life. And they were just always so grounded and humble with their ways of teaching. And, you know, I think like Javier feels like very almost like dreamlike in his process, and Amy's super technical. You know, everyone just like brought different things to the table, and I feel like it all just like mixed so well together.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like doing a horror beat with Patrick Wilson when you get to be the creepy thing behind his shoulder. I'm like, I feel like I'm in Insidious. Like, it's so cool.
I love making this perfect, gorgeous man go through hell.
Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today. Cape Fear is streaming now on Apple TV with new episodes released every Friday. Malia, Lily, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Have you ever rooted for two characters to finally figure it out, even though life keeps getting in the way? That's a big part of what has fans coming back to Ransom Canyon. Season 2 picks up 6 months later, and with more questions about love, family, and what home really means. Joining us are the stars of the series, Josh Duhamel and Minka Kelly. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Season 2 picks up 6 months after the finale without giving anything away. Where do we find Stanton and Quinn emotionally when we see them again?
Well, I think that, you know, if I could take that one, my character is definitely ready to treat this relationship with the care that it deserves. Because I think he realizes after having these 6 months away, he realizes that he probably could have made more of an effort, probably could have done things differently, could have called, could have wrote, could have gone to see her, didn't do any of those things. And I think that he really wants to right the wrongs of, you know, the past mistakes he's made in this relationship. And then he finds out very quickly after that she moved on, and it's too late, dude.
One of the big themes this season is choosing between the life you built and the life you dreamed about. Minka, what makes Quinn's decision so difficult this time around?
Well, you know, she was in New York for 6 months, and, you know, it's a little easier out of sight, out of mind to romanticize this new life that she could possibly live, and meets this new guy who on paper makes so much sense and says and does all the right things. And then she goes home as she'd always planned, and she's then faced with this new version of Stanton that she's wanted from him her whole life. And it's a little too late. So now she's in this predicament of, do I turn my back on this new thing that feels fresh and new and potentially promising, or do I take the opportunity, this chance to fulfill this dream of hers, you know, where she comes home, where she realizes that home isn't just this place, it's this person. And that just becomes so undeniable for her. And home is where the heart is.
And Josh, Stanton has always been driven by protecting his family's legacy, but this season seems to put love more at the center of his journey. How does that change him?
Well, I think that the two kind of go hand in hand. The ranch is been so part of him and his family for so long that he sort of conflates the two. Like family, land, legacy are all kind of part of all he cares about, really. And when he loses, sorry, I took this hat from the set, I'm going to take it off. When he loses his family in season 1, he sort of loses his purpose and not really sure how he wants to go forward with the ranch. And I think that there's something happens along the way when, I think it's after she leaves, that he really realizes that he wants to share this with her. He doesn't want to go forward without having Quinn with him. And all of these things sort of come together to give him this purpose to keep going with the ranch and keep doing these things that he's done forever. And without her, there's not really much reason to keep doing it.
Also, the chemistry between the two of you has become one of the biggest reasons fans have embraced the show. What is it like continuing that relationship this season now that the stakes are even higher?
I think this season was really fun exploring this. You know, it's a whole different sort of energy between the two of them. You know, it's like she was gone and was able to just sort of, she went to play with the New York Phil and choose herself and live this new fun life out of sight, out of mind, and have some fun for a little while. And then she comes home to this new version of Stanton where he's so light and charming and funny, and this is the love of her life. And so that new dynamic between them is really fun in season 2 to play with and to be genuinely charmed by. And so it's a big difference from season 1 and season 2 in that regard, I think, which is really fun.
Josh, Minka, I really want to thank you for hanging out with me today. Ransom Canyon Season 2 is now available to stream on Netflix. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Ever feel like nutrition advice changes every week? Protein gets a lot of attention, but experts say many of us are actually missing 2 other important nutrients. Today, registered dietitian Marina Chaparro is here to explain what they are, why they matter, and a simple food that can help you get more of them. Welcome, Marina.
So happy to be here.
We're happy you're here. Marina, experts say many of us are missing 2 important nutrients in our diets: What are they, and what food can help us get more of both?
So I think protein is getting all the love and attention, and we really need to start paying attention to these two nutrients that actually we need more of. These are heart healthy fats and fiber. 95 out of 100 Americans do not consume enough fiber. So if you were to ask me, what is this food that we're actually sleeping on? It's avocados, because avocados is one of those natural foods that actually contains both that heart healthy fat and the fiber, which is going to be really important, especially, if your goal is to help you with weight management or help you with blood sugar control, or just feel better and more satisfied. The question that I want you to ask is, where's my fiber and where's my heart healthy fat in this plate?
How can the combination of fiber and healthy fats help with weight management and type 2 diabetes?
Most people think that weight management and type 2 diabetes means let's just eat less. And in fact, that's not the case. It's how do we eat smart? And that's going to be three simple words. It's going to be the fiber, it's going to be the fat, will equal fullness. The three F's, because when we include the fat and when we include the fiber, this actually is going to slow down the digestion and may also help regulate that blood sugar and even just make you feel more satisfied. So I'm a dietitian, but I also live with type 1 diabetes. And one of my core philosophies is, what does the science say and how do we add more joy? And the science is really interesting because we know from emerging studies from the Avocado Nutrition Center that people that consume avocados, fresh avocados, it may suggest that it could improve or help with weight management and may also help with type 2 diabetes.
And most people think of avocado toast or guacamole, but you brought something different with you today. Can you tell us about it?
So guac gets all the love, right? Guacamole, but avocados can do so much more. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas on how do we include it for breakfast, lunch, snack, and this is why I love them. It's so versatile. The first one, we have this chia pudding with avocados and blueberries. Super simple. We put everything in the freezer, and the morning off, we're just going to top it off with a little avocado, again, that heart healthy fat, some fruit of choice, some granola, perfect combination. Another idea, if we have a bowl, a hearty bowl, a little bit more savory with some veggies and a hard-boiled egg, more protein. And lastly, my personal favorite, my kids' favorite, is going to be some icicles made out of banana, avocado, and a little bit of orange juice. It's going to be perfect for this heat and this summer.
And more people are using GLP-1 medications. What are some of the potential benefits of including avocados as part of a healthy diet while taking those medications?
GLPs, yes, they are more popular, and some people can experience some side effects, especially when it comes to constipation or GI symptoms. So that's why fiber is going to be really important to help with these symptoms and digestion. And again, avocados, we're going to have that healthy fat, that fiber. So it's going to help you feel fuller, especially in those smaller meals. So it's, again, how do we eat smartly?
And where can our viewers go to find this recipe and learn more?
You can always find a lot of these recipes and inspiration at loveonetoday.com/avocados.
Thank you, Marina, for coming on our show and helping us up our nutrition game.
You're welcome.
Most of us don't think twice about putting on a shirt or giving somebody a hug. But imagine if everyday contact would cause painful wounds. Today, we're joined by Dr. Lisa Swanson, a dermatologist and EB specialist, along with Henry DeAngelis, who has lived with epidermolysis bullosa his entire life, to help us better understand this rare condition and the progress it's bringing hope to patients and families. Welcome to the show, you two.
Thank you so much for having us.
Dr. Swanson, for people who've never heard of it before, what is epidermolysis bullosa, or EB?
You did great. You did great. You sounded it out. You did perfect. So epidermolysis bullosa, or EB for short, feel free to call it EB, is often described as the worst condition you've never heard of. And we're trying to change that. So we've partnered with Chiesi Global Rare Diseases to spread awareness of epidermolysis bullosa. EB is basically a group of rare inherited skin fragility disorders in which the skin is very weak and fragile. So our skin is put together in a very typical way to provide a good barrier to the outside world. However, when you have epidermolysis bullosa, one component of that skin barrier is not working properly or even not present. And so because the building blocks of the skin are not put together in a normal way, it leads to increased weakness and fragility in the skin. This leads to sores, erosions, and blisters. They can last for a while, they can get infected, and they can cause scarring. And while EB always affects the skin, it can affect other surfaces too. Like it can affect the lining of the mouth, the throat, the eyes, the digestive tract. It's a rare condition. About 200 babies are born each year with EB, and there's just under 4,000 patients in the United States currently living with the condition. But the good news is that we've had some major advances in the past few years. Research and science is amazing. And so we have newfound hope for epidermolysis bullosa patients and the entire community.
Henry, you've lived with EB your entire life. What has day-to-day life been like for you and your family?
Yeah. Since I've been born, my family and I have worked to manage all of the daily struggles that come with living with EB. I like to call it the daily balancing act between managing wound care and dressing changes to infection management to pain management and wanting to have a normal life on top of that, have a job, go to school, have a social life. You know, when I was younger, we spent a lot of weekends traveling to clinical trials, and, you know, there weren't really any specific treatments for EB at the time. And I found that to be an incredibly isolating experience. And so the last couple of years, I've really worked to become an advocate and a community leader to turn that negative experience into something incredibly positive.
I'd like to ask both of you, what treatment options are available today for people living with EB?
That's the really exciting thing. Like up until a few years ago, all we really had to manage epidermolysis bullosa was wound care, you know, dressing changes, bandages, different ointments, Vaseline, etc. But in 2023, we started to get approval of several treatments for EB, and that has brought a whole new excitement. You know, I think part of the reason so many people haven't heard of EB is that it wasn't very fun to talk about EB. And now that's different because of the advancements and the recent approvals. And I know Henry, as a patient living with EB, has even more insights about this. Go ahead, Henry.
Yeah. Living with EB looks a lot different than it did just a couple of years ago. For the first time ever, our community has hope. And hope is such a strong and powerful tool. I'd encourage people who have EB to go to their doctors, to talk about treatment options and what is best for them, and to become their own self-advocates, because advocacy has been such an integral part to my success and my journey.
And finally, where can people go to learn more about EB?
Oh, wonderful question. So there's a terrific website, www.understandingeb.com, which is a tremendous resource to help people learn more about this rare condition.
Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Have you ever thought about how much your health depends on having access to healthy food? For many families, nutritious meals aren't always easy to find, and that's where the idea of food is medicine comes in. Joining us are Martha Hoover, a restaurateur and longtime food access advocate, and Melissa Coe with Lilly to talk about the effort to expand access to healthy food. Welcome to you both.
Good morning. Thank you.
Melissa, people may not immediately connect a medicine company with food access. Why is this such an important issue for Lilly?
Well, Aaron, thank you for having us again. And this is a great question. So for 150 years, Lilly has been focused on helping people live healthier lives. And access to nutritious food is one of the most important drivers of health, which is why we believe that supporting healthier communities also means helping expand access to foods that make health possible. So Lilly is working with United Way to identify local community organizations. Together, we're helping those organizations provide the equivalent of 500,000 meals near term across. And then we're also looking at long-term infrastructure, and that's going to be done through expanded cold storage capacity with Hatch for Hunger, and that's going to enable distribution of more than 5 million protein-rich meals annually across 150 food pantries.
We hear the phrase "food is medicine" more often today. What does that really mean, and how does this initiative reflect Lilly's commitment to helping people live healthier lives?
Yeah, we do hear that term a lot more. And at Lilly, we do believe that food is medicine because access to nutritious food is foundational to better health. So while healthcare is still vitally important and essential, we also recognize that there's many other factors that influence health. And that's why this initiative extends our commitment beyond medicine by supporting organizations that are helping families access fresh produce and protein-rich foods, which are the kinds of foods that can have meaningful impact on long-term health.
And Martha, why does healthy food remain out of reach for so many families?
Well, the key word is access, and the key phrase is lack of access. There are many things, many factors that play into this access, lack of access, one of which is proximity to grocery stores, another is availability of transportation, and of course, key is the cost of food. So all those taken together create real problems for people to access high quality ingredients. What we know is that there are 47 plus million Americans who experience daily food insecurity. Many of those are children. And we also know that the people experiencing daily food insecurity rely on a robust system of food pantries for their emergency food needs. And with the pantries don't have proper refrigeration, they are unable to distribute and serve the ingredients that people need for a healthy diet, including fresh eggs, fresh poultry, meat, fish, and produce. So Lily's innovative program and innovative approach is helping these pantries improve their infrastructure by adding commercial refrigeration so they are able to distribute these ingredients.
And how are local organizations and community organizations coming together to help more families access healthier food options?
There's great awareness that there is huge need and that not one organization can solve the need by themselves. So organizations are working, non-for-profits are working with companies. We're all working with governmental agencies with the long-term vision of optimizing results for an entire community.
Melissa, how is this initiative helping address both immediate food needs and long-term access to healthier food?
Yeah, so I mean, as Martha was just saying, the need is immense. And so we know that families need access to nutritious food today. And so that's why we're really committed to providing those 500,000 meals across those 15 communities near term, while also supporting long-term infrastructure improvements through the expanded commercial grade refrigeration systems. And, the goal here really is that we can help provide impact well into the future and not just near term.
And where can people go for more information?
Sure. Well, for more information, you can visit go.lilly.com/food, or you can go to unitedway.org.
Melissa, Martha, thank you both so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Alrighty, Raleigh, that's going to do it for this week's Rise and Unwind. Hopefully you're feeling a little more awake, or at least one step closer to it. Thanks for starting your morning with us. And if you want more in between shows, you can always find us on socials at Rise Unwind, and we can keep hanging out. Until next time, have a great morning, Raleigh.